Okay, so we're looking at the writing inequalities notes and practice. We have less than, greater than, and on the other side is less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. I am going to go through probably about half of each of these. I want you to try at least one or two on your own so that you get the practice rather than just having me talk and you copy. We're looking at less than. So keywords for less than are smaller than, less than, fewer than. We're looking at a number decreased by 7 is smaller than -3. The words decreased by and smaller than are our key words. They're what tell us what our mathematical sentence is going to look like. So we've got decreased by. That means subtracting. So we've got a number we don't know. We're going to mark it as n. Decreased by, subtracting, 7 is smaller than, which means we need to use the less than symbol, -3. Okay. This is asking for a solution. So we wrote our mathematical sentence. Here's the good news. Solving inequalities and equations is incredibly similar. There's one difference we're going to learn about on Monday, but currently I still want you to do your line, and then I want you to do your 1 and your 2. All right, number 1. What is the operation that's happening to our variable? Well, we're subtracting 7. What's the opposite of subtracting 7? Adding 7. So I'm going to do the opposite to both sides. I'm going to add 7 over here. So now I have n by itself. And I'm going to add 7 over on this side as well. Now I have a -3 plus 7. If I start over here at -3 and I add 7, I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I end up at +4. You can also see this as ignoring the signs. 7 is a larger digit than 3. So 7 is a positive. We know our answer is going to end up being positive. We can subtract and keep the sign of the larger digit. 7 minus 3 gives us 4. So our solution is n is less than 4. Okay, now we talked about graphing before. And this graphing, it's only different because now we're not equal to. I had you chant equal to and closed. Because whenever you're graphing and it's an equal sign, or you know it's equal to, can be equal to, you have a closed circle. Well, on this page, nowhere does it say equal to. So we're not going to have a closed circle. We're now going to have an open circle. And we're going to graph our open circle by our from our solution, which says 4. So I'm going to put an open circle above 4. But we're not done. That open circle above 4 only tells us that the answer can't be 4 because it doesn't include 4. If we're thinking less than 4, it couldn't be 5, it couldn't be 6, it could be 2, it could be -6, it could be all the way down to -60 if we wanted. So anything behind it could be included. So we're going to draw an arrow pointing to the left, which includes everything less than 4. What you can also notice is over here you've got your sign for less than. It's pointing to the left. If you consider that the end of your arrow, you're going to end up moving to the left. All right. Twice a number is less than -16. Twice and less than. Twice just means you're going to multiply by 2. So I'm putting my 2 directly next to my n. There's no sign, which means we're multiplying. Is less than negative 16. All right. The operation that's happening here is we've got multiplying by 2. All right, so the opposite, multiplying by 2, is going to be to divide by 2. I'm also going to draw my line. So if I divide by 2 over here, I've got to divide by 2 over here. I end up with n by itself because 2 divided by 2 gives us 1, and 1 multiplied by n gives us our n, because it remains the same if you multiply by 1. Negative 16 divided by a positive 2. All right. Well, we have different signs, so our answer is going to be negative. Now I can just think about 16 divided by 2. Well, I know that's 8. So our answer is negative 8. And over here we can write n is less than negative 8. Make sure you include your negative, because it'd change it a whole lot. So that means our open circle, keep in mind it's an open circle, goes above our negative 8. And we're still going to move with our symbol to the left. I want you to try fewer than. Negative 2 increased by a number is fewer than 8. Increased by is your keyword, and so is fewer than. I think you can do that. Let's look at greater than. So we've got is more than, is greater than, is larger than, and exceeds. The quotient of a number and 1 is more than negative 2. All right, big word, quotient and is more than. Those are our 2 key words. Make sure you're underlining those so you remember I need to be looking for those keywords. All right, quotient means to divide. So we know we're going to divide a number we don't know, which I'm representing as n, divided by 1. Is more than, so I need to be using our greater than symbol, which opens to the left, is greater than negative 2. All right, draw your line and do your 1, 2s. Okay. Now, the operation that's currently happening, we're dividing by 1. The opposite of dividing by 1 is to multiply by 1. All right, so we've got to multiply by 1 over here to get n by itself. We're going to multiply by 1 over here. Well, anything multiplied by 1 remains the same. So negative 2 multiplied by 1 stays negative 2. All right, we don't see equal to anywhere in our sentences. We don't see it next to our greater than. We don't see a line underneath our greater than symbol. So we know that it's just n is greater than negative 2, and our circle should be open. So we're going to graph an open circle over negative 2. And the way that our symbol is pointing is to the right, which if you think about it, negative 1 is greater than negative 2, 3 is greater than negative 2, 6 is greater than negative 2, but all these numbers behind negative 2 aren't greater, so we definitely want to move to the right. And this arrow could go on infinitely. We're just going to go to the end of that number line. All right. The sum of a number and 6 is greater than 4. So the sum of a number we don't know, and sum means what? Adding. And 6, we're adding 6, is greater than 4. Okay. Draw our line, do our 1, 2s. Currently, we're adding 6. The opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 over here to get n all by itself. But if I subtract on this side, I have to make sure to subtract 6 on this side. All right. So we've got two different signs. We've got 4 and a -6. So what's the larger digit if we ignore the signs? 6. So 6 minus 4 is 2. And because 6 is a negative, we keep the sign of the larger digit, so we end up with a -2. N is greater than -2. Well, look at that. Our line is going to look the exact same because our solution is the same. So draw another open circle over our -2 and our line, arrow pointing to the right. I'm going to set up your mathematical sentence for the third one, but I want you to be able to do all of the fourth greater than problem. A number divided by 4 is larger than -2. So we have a number, because it's first, divided by 4 is larger than -2. Okay, make sure to do your 1, 2s, put your solution, put your graphing, and draw your line. All right, flipping over. We're looking at less than or equal to. Our keywords are maximum, at most, not more than, and up to. That was one of the ones we hadn't seen yet, up to. So, 3 times a number is at a maximum -9. Well, this is telling us, obviously, we are going to multiply 3 multiplied by our number. We got to make sure to do our less than sign, so the point to the left with a line underneath that tells us it could be equal to. Less than or equal to -9. 3 multiplied by our number is less than or equal to, or at a maximum, -9. Draw your line, do your 1, 2s. So we're multiplying by 3. The opposite is to divide by 3. So I'm going to do it to both sides. Divide by 3, get n by itself. Divide by 3, -9 divided by a +3. The signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative. We end up 9 divided by 3 is 3, so we end up with a -3. So n is less than or equal to -3. If I come over here and look at my graph, I now have the words equal to over in this corner. Over here we have equal to. So now we know our circle can be what? Closed. Instead of being an open circle that doesn't include, our answer can be equal to. So when we graph our -3, I want that circle to be closed tight like your fist. And our arrow is still going to move to the left following what our sign says. Just like over here. Okay, I would like for you to do the second one because I feel like the third and the fourth are more difficult, and I'd like to at least set up these two problems. I'm going to do the third one and then set up the fourth one for you. So the ratio, big word, of a number and 5 is not more than -2. Ratio. When you think about a ratio, you have seen it written as colon form, you've seen it in word form, and you've seen it in fraction form. And we know, because I've written it multiple times, that we can use a fraction to represent a division problem. So the ratio or the division of a number we don't know, and 5 is not more than, so is less than or equal to, -2. Okay, do you 1-2s? What's happening here right now? We're dividing by 5. The opposite of dividing by 5 is to multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5 over here, also draw my line, which gives me n by itself. And I'm going to multiply by 5 over here. Our signs are different, so our answer will be negative. 5 times 2 is 10, but because the signs are different, I got to make sure I have that -10. So n is less than or equal to -10. Well, looky here. This is going to be one of our shorter lines. Now, our circle, because it can be equal to with this little line, and because we see the words equal to, our circle is going to be closed. We're going to have a short little arrow that just points, recognizing the fact we know that anything less than -10 is included as a solution. All right. The product of 2 and a number is up to 6. So product. Similar to quotient, where quotient means the answer to a division problem, product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So product means we're multiplying 2 and n, and it can be less than or equal to 6. Okay, you're going to finish this one and do all of the second row as well. Last group, greater than or equal to. So our sign should look like it's open to the left with a line beneath it. We have 4 less than a number. So 4 less than a number means that we're going to subtract something from our number. Four less. So we're subtracting 4 from our number. And that is at a minimum, meaning it is greater than or equal to -1. All right. The operation that's happening here. We are subtracting 4. The opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Now I have n by itself, which is greater than or equal to. 4 is the larger digit, so 4 minus 1 gives me 3. So my solution is n is greater than or equal to 3, a positive 3. Okay, if I come over to my number line, because we see the words equal to and we have a line beneath our sign, we know our circle is going to be closed on the 3. And we're going to move with our sign, which says we're moving to the right. Because we know greater than 3 means 4, 5, 6, 7, 50, 80, 90, 100, all of those things. Okay. The difference of a number and 10 is at least 5. Difference means that it's going to be subtractions. We have a number and the difference is 10, so minus 10 is greater than or equal to at least 5. Okay, I'm going to draw my line. 1. I'm subtracting 10. The opposite of subtracting 10 is adding 10. So add 10 over here, add 10 over here. We get n by itself, and 5 plus 10 gives us 15. So n is greater than or equal to 15. Well, hold up. Over here, it only goes up to 10. So I'm going to make a line. I'm going to add a 15. I'm going to make a closed circle. And I'm going to point my arrow away from the line. I recognize that's not ideal. It happens. It's okay. I promise you can still do it. All right. I'm going to let you do the third one, and I'm going to set up the fourth one. The product of 4 and a number is not smaller than -12. Product. We talked about that up here. The product means we're multiplying 4 times our number, and it's not smaller than, which means we're greater than or equal to -12. Make sure to draw your line, do your 1-2s. If you need to get an extra piece of paper to work on this, I completely understand. Just make sure it's stapled when you turn this in on Monday. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.